evening, everyone. It's October 16th, 6 o'clock, and we will start the Planning Commission. Can you please take the roll?
Commissioner Lydé.
Here.
Commissioner Calandra. Commissioner Diaz.
Here.
Commissioner Kreiner.
Here.
Commissioner Sturgill. Vice Chair Bray.
Here.
Chair Vang.
We will now do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll read the procedures now. This meeting is being conducted in person and electronically. For each matter considered by the Commission, there will first be a staff presentation, followed by a presentation from the project applicant. Testimony from supporters of the project will then be taken, followed by testimony from those in opposition. The applicant will have the right to a final rebuttal presentation prior to the closing of the public hearing. In accordance with Section 13 of Article 2 of the Planning Commission Rules and Regulations governing the length of public debate, all public testimony from those in support and in opposition of the project will be limited to 3 minutes per person. The 3 lights on the podium next to the microphone will indicate the amount of time left for the speaker. The green light will be turned on when the speaker begins. The yellow light will come on with a soft bell ring when 1 minute is remaining. The speaker should be completing the testimony by the time the red light comes on, with a final bell indicating that the time has expired. All in-person testimony must be presented to the Commission at the podium. Any testimony that references race, religion, ethnicity, economic status, national origin, or any other classification protected under state or federal law in a derogatory manner shall be deemed irrelevant and will not be considered by the Commission in making its land use decisions. If you challenge these land use decisions in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised in oral or written testimony or before the close of the hearing. Okay, so we'll move to agenda approval. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Good evening, Vice Chair Bray, Commissioners. This is Philip Segrist, Planning and Development Department. Staff has no changes to tonight's agenda.
Thank you. Do the Commissioners have any changes to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
A motion? Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Diaz, seconded by Commissioner Lydé. We take a vote, please. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, on the consent calendar, I will have to recuse myself for business reasons, and so we need to elect someone to run this one part of the meeting, and I'm nominating Commissioner Diaz. Can I have we have a second from Commissioner Calandra. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Not in favor? Okay. Let me know when you're done.
Consent calendar item ID 24-1311. We will now go out to the public. Would any member of the public would like to provide comments on the consent calendar? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Motion by, forgive me. See? Commissioner Kreiner. Do I have a second? Calandra. Commissioner Calandra. Thank you. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Thank Thank you. Be good.
Okay, do we have any reports by commissioners? We have no continued matters, so we'll move on to new matters. 8A. So can we have the staff report, please?
Good evening, Chair, Commissioners. My name is John George. I'm with the Planning and Development Department. Staff brings forth for your consideration vesting tentative track map number 6470 and associated environmental assessment. This project was submitted by Precision Engineering on behalf of Wathen Castanos. The proposed track map is located on the west side of Willow Avenue, south of East Salaxo Road, and north of North Alicante Drive.
I'm sorry. This is the one I should have recused myself from. That's what I was saying. Oh. So now I'm going to recuse myself. Okay. Can we still have Commissioner Diaz, or do we need to vote again?
We will have a quorum. So yes, Commissioner Diaz can remain as the,
Okay. Sorry.
can tell she's excited about it, as the chair for this item.
The planned land use for this site is medium low-density residential. It is surrounded by low-density residential to the north. To the west, we also have medium low-density residential as to the south as well. There is open space to the west, which is the golf course. To the east is the county of Fresno. Surrounding the property is, to the north again, is rural residential and the county of Fresno. To the west is the golf course. To the south is a recently approved residential neighborhood, and to the east is a large agricultural facility, again, in the county of Fresno. The proposed tract map will include 194 single-family residential lots on 47.06 acres of property with a residential density of 4.12 dwelling units per acre, which is consistent with the which is consistent with the medium low-density residential density range of 3.5 to 6. The average lot size is 7,141 square feet. Also included is 1.30 acres of open space. The whole SEIR for the Copper River development is to include 28.8 acres of open space. With the inclusion of this 1.30, we move closer to fulfilling that. The 1.30 acres also exceeds the requirement of the Fresno Municipal Code, which would require 0.37 acres. The project complies with all development standards of the RS4 zone district, subject to the conditions of approval. The Council District 6 Project Review Committee heard this item on July 10th, 2024, and had no recommendations. This slide is a transparency that shows us how the proposed tract map will sit in this vacant property. In conclusion, staff recommends the approval of the vesting tentative tract map and associated environmental assessment. This concludes staff's presentation.
Are there any questions by the commissioners? Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now invite the applicant to present.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Eric Gibbons. I'm with WCP Developers, also Wathen Castano is what you've heard as the applicant here. With me tonight is Dominic Morellis from Precision Engineering. We're both here to answer questions, but I just want to say real quick, we're really excited about this project. I think it's the last community within Copper River Ranch, and we're really excited to get it going. A couple of really large parks that you saw on the map that we're excited to get built for those neighbors out there as well. We're grateful to staff for their efforts in getting this through the process, and just appreciate them for all they've done. There's been a lot of hurdles to go through on this one, so we're really glad we're here. So like I said, appreciate your time, and we are here if you have any questions for us. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions? Thank you. Now we will go out to the public. Are there any members of the public who wish to comment in favor of the applicant? Are there any members in opposition? Is there anyone online? No one has any questions? No comments? Now we will close the hearing. Would any of the commissioners would like to ask any comments or any questions? No. Would any of the commissioners would like to recommend a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, to adopt the environmental assessment and to approve the vesting of the tentative tract map.
Second.
Motion was called by Commissioner Calandra and second by Commissioner Kreiner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
I apologize for the confusion. I'm sure it's going to go much better from here on out. Okay, so we're going to move on to item 8B. So can we have the city staff do their presentation?
Yes, good evening, Chair Bray, Commissioners. Philip Segrist, the Planning and Development Department. This next item for you for consideration is related to an appeal regarding the approval of development permit application number P23-03784 and the related plan development permit number P23-03785. So the subject application pertains to 2.31 acres of vacant property that are located on the south side of West Belmont Avenue, really between West Belmont and West Franklin, and North Pacific on the west side and North Delno on the east side. And it's noted that it's just south of Fresno Chaffee Zoo and the Roding Park. Surrounding properties directly to the west is currently a vacant site, as well as a ponding basin. Neighboring properties to the south, the west, and a little further to the east are existing single-family residential homes, and there are several commercial uses along West Belmont Avenue. And the subject site is located in the neighborhood mixed-use zone district. Property across the street, which is Roding Park, is zoned for parks and recreational. Properties along West Belmont Avenue are all planned and zoned for neighborhood mixed uses, so that would be a mixed-use corridor. And then properties, again, surrounding it to the south, the east and west, are planned and zoned for medium-density single-family residences. And the development, hold on one sec. The development permit application requests to construct a new kindergarten through 8th grade charter school for Golden Charter Academy. The charter school will be chartered through Fresno Unified School District. It will also serve as a new permanent location for Golden Charter School. As noted in the staff report, schools are permitted in the neighborhood mixed-use zone district. But they are subject to development standards that are required for properties developed in mixed-use zone districts. And so therefore, the development permit application was filed to facilitate that development. And this next slide here is a site plan. As you can see, it'll primarily be comprised of 4 educational buildings that are going to be arranged with a corridor where all the classrooms will face to that interior corridor. It'll include 21 classrooms, as well as a small amphitheater along the south side of the building, which is highlighted in red, pink. And there will be several other open space and child play areas, which are the highlighted green areas kind of on the corner, near the corner of West Belmont and North Delno Avenues. And there will be a primary entrance into the school located mid-block along North Pacific Avenue. And then the parking will be to the south, on the south end, right off of West Franklin Avenue, and it'll have 2 drive approaches into that parking lot. The project would also have fencing and gates, as well as new block walls along the interior and rear property lines. Also with the project, it'll include new off-site improvements such as new sidewalks, as well as street trees and pedestrian lighting. And this next slide are some of the elevations, not all of them, a number of buildings, so to keep things a little quicker, just had a few of the elevations. But as you can see, to kind of show a better perspective what the development might look like, here's a artist rendering of the school, and this view would be from North Pacific Avenue, looking right at the primary entrance into the school. And another rendering from Belmont Avenue, and so as you're going down the Belmont and the north and looking south, that would be the front of it and what you would see. And so Golden Charter Academy, it would accommodate approximately 480 students and 60 full-time employees. Again, the school would include 21 classrooms, and then primary operating hours for the school would be generally 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. And for pickup and drop-off of the school, there will be at least 8 staff members present to help facilitate that. Some of them will be along Pacific Avenue, and other staff will be along Franklin and Belmont. And that's really to direct cars in through the neighborhood and to the drop-off site and back out. And this next slide is of the drop-off plan, the pickup and drop-off plan. Cars and parents will be directed to enter into the neighborhood at the corner of the intersection of West Belmont and North Delno Avenue. They'll be directed to drive south along North Delno, make a right and head west along West Franklin Avenue, and then make another right and head back north along North Pacific Avenue. And there they will be directed to drop off the students or pick them up. And again, the primary entrance to the school is right there. It's kind of highlighted in yellow. And after they pick up or drop off, they'll then enter back out onto West Belmont to go east or west. As previously mentioned, the subject site is located in the neighborhood mixed use zone district, and that zone district is really intended to promote pedestrian-oriented development, encourage mixed-use development with, traditionally ground floor commercial uses with other either residential or other office-type uses above that. But even though that is generally encouraged or required based on the standards, the mixed-use district does allow for schools. And again, developing in the mixed-use district, they're subject to compliance with the very prescriptive development standards for mixed-use districts. That covers density requirements, setbacks and frontage coverage, has requirements for active uses adjacent to sidewalks, a high level of connectivity for pedestrian access off of the sidewalk into buildings, as well as sidewalk standards which detail width, how they are, developed with sidewalk trees and pedestrian scale lighting. There's a number of facade design development standards as well. And so, as proposed, the project doesn't fully comply with all of the mixed-use development standards. And so this project to develop the campus type development, it needs a little flexibility to the strict compliance with those standards. And so approval of plan development permits is required for infill projects that are desiring that greater flexibility than otherwise already provided in the code. And the process for plan development it really promotes variety of design and development, avoids monotony, and does allow a little bit greater freedom for development. So the applicants did submit the related plan development permit application that was filed concurrently with the development permit for the purpose of modifying mixed-use development standards, and in particular those standards that the project doesn't fully comply with. And and there is a complete list of the development standards that are being requested to be modified. That's included as Exhibit N of the staff report. But the next several slides are going to just kind of go over, what's required by the development code and what's being proposed by the project. And so the code for building setbacks, it requires buildings to be set back anywhere from 0 to 10 feet from the back of the sidewalk to really kind of force buildings up front. And this project is requesting to allow buildings range from anywhere from 0 to 35 feet from the front setbacks. And then for the interior rear setbacks, the code requires at least a 20-foot building setback, and this is requesting 3 to 11 feet. And that's just kind of a range from the various buildings. And for the parking, the development code requires parking areas to be set back 30 feet from the back of the sidewalk, and here the project is proposing a 5-foot setback. And frontage coverage. at least, the code requires buildings to be provide at least 60% building frontage coverage. And to explain that the buildings need to be anywhere between the maximum allowable setback and the sidewalk. So little difficult to explain, but the project is requesting a modification to that standard. There's also corner frontage coverage standards where it requires buildings to be located or situated at the corner of a property, and they need to be at least 0 to 5 feet from the back of the sidewalk for a linear distance of 15 feet from the corner. So a little difficult to kind of picture that in your mind. Wish I threw in another image to show that. But instead of that, they're requesting not to comply with that, but they will provide a water feature that will be at the corner of Belmont and Pacific Avenues. And for pedestrian entrances, instead of having 3, the code would require 3 be provided along Belmont Avenue and 5 on Pacific. The project proposes no main entrances into the site off of Belmont Avenue and only 3 along Pacific Avenue. And for sidewalks, the development code requires projects to bring all sidewalks into conformance, and that would be a full 12-foot sidewalk with sidewalk trees in tree wells within the sidewalk, as well as pedestrian scale lighting within the sidewalk. And pedestrian scale lighting is a little different than standard street lights with cobra heads that would illuminate the street. It's more at that pedestrian level to illuminate the sidewalk, and so with the trees and the lighting, it would really promote that pedestrian, a more comfortable and safe pedestrian environment. And so with this project, they're proposing along Pacific Avenue, sidewalks ranging from 9.5 to 10.5 feet wide with on-site trees. And so rather than the trees being within tree wells, they'll be just located at the back of the sidewalk. And for Franklin Avenue, they're proposing a 10-foot wide sidewalk instead of the required 12. But along all of the sidewalks, they will be providing pedestrian scale lighting, but they won't be provided within the sidewalk. They'll be located on site just to the rear of the sidewalk, but it will be required to provide some illumination on and illuminate the sidewalks. And for landscape buffers, the code requires at least a 15-foot wide landscape buffer along the interior portion of the site where it abuts other properties, but they're proposing an average of a 9-foot landscape buffer, and that would include, in addition to a 6-foot tall CMU block wall, they would also have a solid landscape hedge that I think would grow to about 10 feet tall, as well as additional bushes, shrubbery in that area. And for facade design development standards, again, mixed-use standards, very prescriptive. It addresses building length and building height articulation, so it really requires projections along the building facade and recesses, both horizontally and vertically. It also requires and prescribes a minimum number of different material types, as well as colors that buildings need to provide in their facades. Also has prescribed design guidelines for window design, facade alignments that way they are parallel to the frontage, as well as requires balconies or other facade elements. And so the project did request modifications to a number of those standards, but when reviewing per the mixed-use development standards, it does allow some flexibility. There's 2 options in which projects can go by. There's the flexibility option, and there's the certainty option. And so projects which meet the goals of the flexibility option don't need to fully comply with the certainty options. And so upon review, staff did determine that the project does comply with the flexibility option. So the project was reviewed and recommended approval by the Council District 3 Project Review Committee on February 27th. And a notice of intent was mailed to property owners within 1,000 feet, as well as posted online, and that occurred on March 21st, 2024. And on August 3rd, the Planning and Development Director approved the applications. And shortly after that, I think there's a discrepancy in my dates there. It wasn't August 3rd, I think it's August 31st that it was approved. And on September 3rd, the notice of action of the director's decision was sent to individuals who had specifically requested to receive comments, and that notice of action was also posted online. And on September 5th, 2024, Councilmember Arias appealed the director's decision. And October 4th, 2024, notice of tonight's public hearing was mailed and posted online as well. To date, staff hasn't received any other additional comments or questions from neighbors in response to the notice of the public hearing. And so therefore, staff recommends the Planning Commission deny the appeal and uphold the action of the director to approve the development permit application, number P23-03784, and deny the appeal and uphold the action of the director to approve the planned development permit application, number P23-03785. And that concludes staff's presentation. I'm available to address any comments or questions you might have, and the applicant team is also in attendance, and I think they do have a presentation as well.
Does anyone on the commission have questions for Philip at this time?
I have a question regarding, the drop-off kind of reassures me a little bit, the way that it is to go around the block, but Pacific is the main route to Belmont Memorial Gardens, and they have frequent funeral processions that go right down Pacific.
Okay.
So how is that going to be addressed in terms of traffic conflicts with parents that are picking up kids, dropping kids off? That really concerns me.
Okay. I think that might be a question better addressed by the applicant, but we'll definitely take note of that.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? I'd like the applicant to present them.
Mr. Chair, I do have a question. Right. You may have addressed this already, but the appeal by our council member, what was the grounds of his appeal? Was it the entrances, or was it just for him it wasn't in compliance?
It wasn't specific. It requested for consideration by the Planning Commission to allow discussion on the requested modifications and conditions of approval.
Okay.
Okay, can we have the applicant's presentation, please?
Hello, everybody. Chair Bray, members of the commission, I'm Dan Zach, land use consultant for Golden Charter Academy. We have a very brief presentation. Staff's was very comprehensive. We don't want to belabor the point too much, but we have a brief video that we wanted to show first, just to kind of introduce you to the school and the program. And then the founder, Robert Golden, will say just a few words, and then I'll bring it home with a little bit of clarification about some of the development standard issues, and we'll touch on the drop-off issue as well. And so if we'll just jump right into the video and go from there. Hopefully our tech doesn't fail us. Oh. Do you guys have audio up there? No.
I don't know why it's.
the audio doesn't work, we could just jump into our presentation.
Can I make a suggestion? Isn't Mr. Johnson in the audience?
Mr. Golden, yeah.
Golden,
Yeah.
excuse
Oh,
me.
yeah. He's here.
Could we just have him tell us what he was going to say there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert?
And then I also need to disclose, the reason I said Johnson is my niece is Hannah Johnson, who's done some work for Golden Charter, but I have no financial interest in that whatsoever. I just wanted to disclose that. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. No. Let's just have Mr. Johnson speak, okay?
Yeah, my last name is Golden.
Golden, I keep saying Johnson because
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Fair.
Can we please
Sorry.
pull up the PowerPoint, please?
And I don't watch football, so.
Awesome. Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Robert Golden, and it's truly an honor to be before you all. But if I stand up here and be honest with you, I'm not excited about being in front of your presence right now. And it's not for anything that you guys done, but I'll give you guys an opportunity to understand why I'm not excited about being in your presence this evening. But the video would have told you that Golden Charter Academy is the nation's first TK through 8th environmental stewardship zoo school in the nation, right here in Fresno, California. Now, whenever I say an environmental stewardship zoo school, people often wonder, what is that? Well, our pathway to education is through environmental education, and we provide our scholars with environmental literacy, which is the skills and knowledge that is needed to make the right decisions regarding their environment. But what's really unique about our school is we're a place-based education model school, which means that we can do school anywhere in any place. So the Fresno Chaffee Zoo is our founding partner, and we get to utilize the zoo on a daily basis as an extended learning laboratory for our scholars' learning. But not only that, we get an opportunity to utilize the whole city of Fresno as our classroom learning laboratory. But whenever I talk about environmental stewardship, it's so important that you understand that little hens do big things. That is the slogan that we have at Golden Charter Academy. And the reason why we have that slogan is because we're not just teaching our scholars about environmental literacy and environmental stewardship, but we're actually setting dates for them to go out inside of our Fresno community to make a difference right now. When I started this school back in 2021, we've been able to plant over 100 trees in communities that have a tree equity score of 29 on Cal Enviro charts. Just to give you guys a glimpse, if you go north to Woodward Park area, that tree equity score is 99. We planted over 100 trees in communities that don't have tree equity. What we also done is we've been able to restore the monarch butterfly population in partnership with the Fresno Chaffee Zoo to bring the monarch butterflies back through the Central Valley, which we were recognized by the President of the United States for our sustainability work that we're doing right here in Fresno. Another great thing that we've been able to do with Little Hens Doing Big Things is we've been able to address the food apartheid and the food injustices that is happening in Southwest Fresno, particularly in District 3. Our scholars that live in this area, they realize that the closest farmers market in their zip code is in Woodward Park at River Park. That's the closest farmers market, and that's the closest place that you can get fresh produce. But the grocery stores that do have fresh produce in Southwest Fresno, it costs an average of $1.30 more than what it costs in North Fresno. So our scholars wanted to partner with local farmers to provide a fresh produce farmers market right on our campus to not only provide fresh produce for our families that attend Golden Charter Academy, but they also provided fresh produce for our whole community that is surrounded by our current location right now. But I bring this up to you guys because we do believe that little hands can do big things, and if you give them the opportunities, they can display that. We've been able to do some really exciting things in this city of Fresno, which really excites me about the work that I'm doing. But I give you guys that information to also let you know that this is happening right here in the city of Fresno. And when you talk about the people that live here in the city of Fresno, we have over 500 people that live in our city. And when we look at the county, we have over 1 million people that lives in the Fresno County. And out of 1 million people that lives in the Fresno County, one person appealed this project. One person appealed this project out of 1 million people. So when I said that I was a little not excited about being before you all this evening, it wasn't because of anything that you guys done. It's a simple fact that we had to address an appellant on this project who appeal letter did not meet the Fresno Municipal Code for ordinance on what it is take to do an appeal on a project. For example, in the statutory requirements in the Fresno Municipal Ordinance Code, it states that you need to clearly and concisely state why you are appealing a project. That was never stated to us. However, we did get the opportunity to meet with the appellant, and every decision or concern that came to mind for him, we were able to address. And I'm sure Dan Zach will be able to come before you all and speak a little bit about how we've been able to address those concerns to really bring this project even in more compliance with the zoning that we're developing out this school in front of. But I'll tell you that we addressed all of his concerns for this reason, because we've been able to develop, not only add more new concrete sidewalks around the whole project, but we also been able to provide the pedestrian lights that he was looking for. And with that, that gave us an additional cost on this project of nearly $450,000. But instead of fighting it, we said we would do it, because we believe that he had the best interest in the city of Fresno in mind when he appealed this project. So we came together and we said, let's address these issues, and we added them to our project, and we took on the cost of an additional $450,000. However, here's the caveat. Because we have been able to address these concerns, and because this project has been delayed, we now have to find out how are we going to accommodate our growing program by having 7th grade next year. So with the delay in this project and with the appeal in this project, this delays our timing in moving into this state-of-the-art facility that was designed by the world-renowned architect, Arthur Dyson. So now I have to go out and source, how am I going to get more modulars on this campus? Well, that's another $350,000 that we have to bring together to make sure that our growing program is sustainable. I give you guys those numbers because due to this appeal, we are now charged with over $800,000 due to the delay in moving into this project, and also due to us needing to add additional modulars. That's $800,000 that could have went towards our scholars. That's $800,000 that could have went towards additional staff to support our scholars. That's $800,000 that could have been able to be applied to more environmental justice work that our scholars are doing right here at Golden Charter Academy. So when I said that I wasn't excited to be before you all, it wasn't anything that you have done. It was because we have taken $800,000 from our budget to be able to meet not only this appeal, but the delay that this appeal has caused to our project. I would like to invite Dan Zach up to give you a little bit more clarity on how we have made this project even more golden by meeting the compliances that is required in this zoning. But I would also like to bring him up because not only was he the assistant planning director for the city of Fresno, but he also knows this code like the back of his hand because he wrote many of the requirements that goes in this code. So when we put this project together, we didn't do it blindly because we had one of the world-renowned architects working on this project, and we also have the former assistant planning director who's guided us through this process. So I thank you guys for your time this evening. I thank you for hearing my story, and I'll be sure to send that video out to you guys so that you can check it out at a later time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Golden. Does anyone in the Planning Commission have questions? Does anyone have questions for Mr. Golden?
Ms. Golden, when was the estimated time of opening that you all were planning?
Thank you for asking that question, Mr. Kreiner. Our projected open date was supposed to be August of 2025. We have a 10-month construction timeline, roughly about 300 days that we wanted to pursue and get into this project available. Our project team, who is here in attendance with us today, we were having all force on hand to make sure that we were going to be able to meet that deadline. We do understand that the stars and the moon would have had to align in order for us to meet that project timeline. But we have a team here that has developed a number of schools in the city of Fresno that had the belief that we could have got that done for sure.
Mr. Golden, you said that on that August 2025 deadline that you all were looking at, you were adding an additional grade. So that was the 7th grade. So right now you're only going up to the 6th grade, right?
That is correct.
So did you already have an estimated enrollment for those that were in the 7th grade, or were you?
Yes, so when we opened the school, we opened up with transitional kinder through 3rd grade, and every single year we've been growing a grade. And as of right now, we're serving transitional kinder through 6th grade. Next year, we'll be serving 7th grade, where our 6th graders will move up to 7th grade, and we will recruit a transitional kindergarten class to start to attend the school at that time.
Last question, Mr. Golden. If that does not happen, and your deadline is not met, and you're not able to add additional modules, what happens to those 6th graders?
That's a question that I haven't thought about and I don't want to think about, but my plans is to do whatever I have to do to be able to bring on additional modulars or find some other type of location to accommodate our growing program. Based on the modulars that we've been able to add onto the site already, that's the rough estimate of about $350,000 that I referred to earlier. So my goal will be to add an additional 2 modulars to this campus if space doesn't accommodate from any other location that I continue to look around to make sure that we can accommodate our growing program.
Some of those 6th graders out here?
Some of those 6th graders are here. Yes, they are.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I'll conclude our presentation here with just a few slides. This project is in the neighborhood mixed-use district, which, came into the development code in 2015 with following the general plan and all those big updates about a decade ago. And, it represents a big difference for Belmont, right? It's envisioning transforming it from this big, wide, fast kind of car corridor, mainly with commercial uses, to a multimodal, mixed-use, more walkable kind of corridor, which is going to take a while, right? It's going to be a gradual evolution, but over time, some streetscape improvements, some infill buildings come along, and streets like Belmont that have this new zoning in it are meant to evolve into a more of a Main Street kind of setting. And those development standards are meant to guide that as projects come in. And so the trend, the pattern historically in these kinds of corridors is that when you have a civic building, a library, a courthouse, a museum, a school, they usually break that pattern a little bit so that they stand out as a civic building with public importance, right? So they'll be back from the sidewalk just a little bit with some landscaping in front. Architecturally, they'll stand out from their surroundings to signify their kind of public importance, right? And so that is why I felt good about bringing this project with the plan development permit and some modifications to those development standards, because it is that civic nature of the building that should stand out from the environment. And so out of hundreds of development standards that apply to the project, there's 16 that we asked for modifications from, and they all help kind of lend toward this unique design and that grand civic character of the building, so that as Belmont develops out with commercial and residential uses, this will stand apart as a public building for a unique institution. And so you can see how it'll definitely serve that purpose. And all the modifications were really to that end of helping this building stand out as a civic building. Phil did a great job of going through all the modifications that we asked for. Only thing I would clarify is that when we did meet with the appellant, get a better understanding, because it wasn't detailed in the letter exactly what was of a concern. The street tree, the lighting was a big issue. And so Phil mentioned we were going to put the pedestrian lighting at the back of the sidewalk in the front setback. We're actually moving that out to the curb line like the development code requires and doing the full array of pedestrian lighting. Originally, we were proposing that the overhead Cobra lights and on-site lighting would light the sidewalk enough. We're going to put the full decorative pedestrian lights along the curb line all the way around the project, all 4 street frontages that are adjacent to the project. We submitted a site plan to planning staff on September 30th that showed that. Doing that made it inconvenient or impractical to leave the current sidewalk on Pacific Avenue. The original plan was new sidewalks on Belmont, Franklin, and Delno, but Pacific already had a wide sidewalk that was in really good shape, so we were just going to repair some driveways, remove those, and leave it in place. Running the electrical for the pedestrian lighting along the curb. Now, all those cuts, it made no sense to leave that sidewalk in place, and so that's coming out and a brand new sidewalk there. Once we did that, it also made sense to put the street trees in the curb line at per standards along Pacific also. So now all 4 frontages will meet the lighting and the street tree standards, and those exceptions can kind of come off of the board in both cases. And so we're no longer requesting those modifications. We're going to meet those standards, and it's going to look great. Great cost, as you heard, but in the end, it will look great, and this will be the shadiest and in the summer heat, the most shade in the neighborhood, and at night the most light in the neighborhood by a mile. It's going to really look great. And so, to give you a sense of it, this is the kind of sidewalk environment that the mixed-use districts go for, with the curb line being where the street trees and the street lights are. And so that's what we're going to do now in full compliance with those sections of the development code. I didn't put the colors on it like Phil did. That's a really good way to simplify these complex site plans, but this is the updated site plan that we submitted on September 30th and that we'll be following moving forward to address those concerns of the appellant and to deliver a better project for the community. And we're really happy with how that's going to come out. And the only other thing I'd like to address is the question about the funeral processions going down Pacific. Sadly, I've been in those before, going right down that path, as I'm sure a lot of us Fresnans have. And those proceed from Belmont southbound down Pacific. That would be left along the top of this site plan. The loading will be heading northbound, and so it'll be in the opposite direction, tucked up against the curb. And so, I anticipate no conflicts. No conflicts came up in our traffic study, which we were required to do, which analyzed our compatibility with all the land uses in the area and all of the traffic that we were anticipated to generate. Identified no conflicts, and so I think that will work out just fine on the occasion when we have one of those processions. Luckily, we're going the total opposite direction, using the opposite side of the street.
That plan was not.
Oh, got it. Yeah, so happy to offer that clarification. And so that concludes our presentation. We're available for any further questions that you might have, and thank you for your consideration.
Does anyone have questions for Mr. Zach?
I have a question. What encouraged you to use Arthur Dyson? Some of my favorite homes are created by him, so I'm really excited to see this design, and I hope the kids know what a big deal this is.
Absolutely. We actually got to partner with Arthur Dyson on a couple of our units where our scholars were using recycled goods to develop out their own model homes to look like Art Dyson model homes. But when we talk about what we're doing at Golden Charter Academy, we're really looking to shift the paradigm of education by doing something that is uniquely different than your typical norm. So if you know Arthur Dyson work, you know that his facilities doesn't look like your typical norm type of facility. So when Dr. Ed Gonzalez and I connected and we were looking for an architect, I told him that I wanted to select an architect that when people drove by that building, they will say, "What's that?" So Arthur Dyson was definitely able to meet the vision that I had for this school, but not only meet it, exceed it, that's for sure.
That's wonderful attention to detail, and it speaks
Absolutely.
volumes about the school itself as well.
Absolutely, thank you.
If there's no further questions, we'll move to public comment. Are there any members of the public who want to comment in favor of the application in the chambers? If you are, please come to the podium.
Thank you for letting me speak today. I'm also a charter operator in Fresno, California. I'm the oldest now and longest running charter operator of African American community. And I'm here in favor of speaking for Golden Charter Academy. And some of you may say, well, aren't you competitors? And I would tell you, no, what we are is partners in a community serving the same community at different ends. And we're trying to create a full circle. And I just ask you today as the Planning Commission to not let politics get in the way of serving Black and brown kids, because that's what we're talking about. And I'm gonna just give it to you with no chaser. That is a very, very dilapidated, plighted community. What he is doing is groundbreaking. I haven't even seen it, and I've been in charters for 32 years and my own charters for 25. And I haven't even seen at this level of what he's doing. And for what he's doing for his parents and his students, and of course his staff is along with him, it's groundbreaking. Now, do we want plighted communities with smoke shops and liquor stores, or do we want a school that's state of the art? And I say this to say because I haven't been to the Planning Commission before, but I remember starting 25 years ago, and I also had a city council member, which I will not mention, do something similar. And I was blessed that it didn't have to come to the commission. This shouldn't have had to come to the commission. I haven't heard anything bad today, have you? You have only heard something that you've never heard before that was groundbreaking. You heard nothing bad. So I just ask that all of you do not be a part of this political sham that is going on, because, and also like to say, I don't represent Golden Charter. I'm in support of them. My words today don't represent, they didn't send me here or anything. I came on my own, okay? So I don't want, to be confused with anything and their feelings or what they're trying to present, okay? But I can say that anything that is wrong in these plans here should have been resolved before it came to you. And I just ask you to stop this force of a charade that is going on with this one particular council member. And I also like to say I think it needs to be investigated, because I have also had a problem getting a permit for modulars for over a year and a half. And all this does is affect Black and brown kids from getting the best education, better than our district schools. So please, and I'm gonna just get off the microphone because there's lots of parents here who could be speaking for what they want today. Thank you.
I'd like to address the audience. We all appreciate your enthusiasm, and I think we probably share in it. But if you could refrain from clapping and that kind of thing, we'd really appreciate it. So is there anyone else who's in favor of the project in the audience? Well, sometimes they do this when they like it, so that's fine.
Thank you, commissioners, deputy city attorney, and everyone that's attended tonight.
And this is my niece, Anna.
Yes. And also, I just realized she was on the Planning Commission right now. I joined the board of Golden Charter Academy after coming for a tour. And I have been in this kind of work my entire life. And I have seen the power of people really working hard to make a change. But I have never experienced anything like this, ever. And neither has this city. And so to sit in the room and to see 197 acres, 47 acres be subdivided into 94 single-family homes without a bat of an eye and no questions, and it just rolled right on through. And then to know what we've endured over the last few months, we gotta do better. We have to do better. We need to lift up projects like this, and we need to do everything we can to supplement getting them through. And we have played very nice. We have played very nice, and that is our intent for the duration of this, because that's what our kids deserve, and that's what our kids need to learn from. But I just really stress that we use this as an example, and that we should prioritize projects in disinvested neighborhoods and lift them up and highlight them and let them be championed. And tonight you have the opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor of the project?
Hi, my name is Jameer Sears, and I've been going to Golden Charter since 3rd grade, since it's open, and I've never been to a school like this. I have transferred from 3 schools, and I've never been to a school like this. Wearing the black and gold is really an honor. It's a privilege to be here. Going to the zoo every other Thursday or Friday is a good learning experience for kindergarten, TK, through the 6th grade, for us to learn about nature and not being inside all day. Mr. Golden has made a change in most of our lives from 3rd to 6th grade. All of the oldest on this campus have actually made a change from 2021 to 2024.
Hi, my name is Chanel, and I have been going to Golden Charter since 3rd grade also. And I absolutely love it. At my old school, I was doing good, but at this school, I'm doing great. They have changed my life. They have made me do super good. I'm in the 6th grade on 8th grade level because of Golden Charter. They have elevated me like the golden rules. They have made me get to this level because they helped me. They never quit. So I just came here to support, and I want to say, please don't stop us. I want to say please, because I want to continue with what we have going on and what Mr. Golden is doing.
Hi, my name is Shariah, and I've been at Golden Charter since 4th grade. And I love it because it impacts me. Like, at first, I didn't know what to do, but since I came here, I've been getting more help, and I understand a lot now.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor of the project?
I wrote this down because I'm not very good at public speaking. Good evening, commissioners and deputy city attorney. Just to give you a little bit from where I'm coming from.
Can you give us your name, please?
My name's David Herspring. I'm a retired police officer from the city of Madera from 28 and a half years. And during my career, I got to enjoy a lot of specialty assignments, field training officer, SWAT, K-9, detectives, school resource officer. And while I was a school resource officer, that was at Madera Unified School District for about 6 years. I had to retire because of a back injury. I didn't realize how much I missed helping people, so I started looking for some part-time employment. And then when I came across Mr. Golden's story, it was pretty much an inspiration from someone that go from the NFL to come back to his own community to build a school. I interviewed with Malik Lee and was offered the job. I was warmly welcomed by the staff and Mr. Golden. I've enjoyed coming to work every day. The staff are all wonderful stories of giving back to their community. Just to explain to you, we have master teachers that have come out of retirement. So we have learning guides, played for Oregon State and Arizona State. They have their master's degree. We've got athletic coaches with the combined experience, and I'm probably lowballing it, with 110 years of coaching. We've got a dance instructor that coaches a large group of our kids, and they perform pretty much every week. We've got a custodial staff that runs circles around pretty much every public school employee or every public school custodial officer custodian that I've worked around. We've got a life coach with a master's degree, front office staff with bachelor's degree. We've got administrators with 3 different master's degrees. Our medical aide is a former firefighter and EMT. And then we've got an advisor that has her doctorate degree, not to mention the folks that are on the board. So when I heard that this was happening, I don't disagree with anybody questioning, of course, building of a new school. That's where our system works. But I'd like us to work together, get it done as quickly as possible. And I think Mr. Golden explained we have 800,000 reasons to get it done fast. We're talking about children. And I'd invite anybody in the decision-making process to please come to our school and see what happens every day.
You have 1 minute.
Okay, I'm almost done. My grandfather and my dad raised me not to judge a person until you walk in their shoes. And quite frankly, with all due respect to the person that appealed this process, he hasn't even tried the shoes on. There's one true demonstration of how our community feels about the school. We have more kids on the waiting list than we have in the school. So thank you for your time. Have a good evening.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in support?
Good evening, Planning Commission. Good evening, Planning Committee. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Liana Pellegrino, and I'm the proud principal of Golden Charter Academy. I am in my 2nd year at this amazing, beautiful school site, and as someone who comes to work and continues to work for probably more than I should, I have seen more impact and inspiration, and this is my 13th year in education happening at Golden Charter Academy. I am a charter school alumni myself. I grew up in Stockton, California, so about a hop, skip, and a jump away from here. And life happened, and I was able to be surrounded by really great educators that helped me be able to move to the Bay Area and to continue my studies. In the Bay Area, I was a part of a lot of high-functioning charter schools and organizations that impacted many, many scholars. Being from the Central Valley, I decided to move back to give back to my community because my immediate family lives here. And so I urge you to please continue the path so other scholars can be just like myself and come back and continue to impact the Fresno community where I will continue to grow my own family as well. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor?
Hi, my name is Ashlyn. I come to you as a Golden Charter Academy parent. My son goes to Golden Charter Academy. He's been there since day 1, 2nd grade. He's now in 5th grade. To see him explore Fresno, plant trees, dig in, come home and talk about the things that he would not learn in traditional school has been heartwarming. Sorry. for my little boy to talk about things that he would not learn in traditional school because we have place-based learning at Golden Charter is top of the line. You can't get that anywhere else. A lot of kids in Fresno Unified get bored when they just sit in class all day. You expect them to sit in class 125 instructional hours at a time with 10-minute breaks. These kids get to go to the zoo. They get to collaborate with Free Fresno and different places and see different things that they would never, ever in their life see at a regular school. So to sit here and know that these things that are being placed against Golden Charter are very, very minimal and childish at that, I think it's sad. And I am very disheartened, like Mr. Golden said, to even be here today. This has pushed back the school opening for August 25 like it should be. So now we have to figure things out. Our kids may or may not have to suffer, be crowded in a place that may not feel as much like a home as it should. But we're always gonna make sure that we try our hardest and make sure that our kids know that we are here for them no matter what. Mr. Golden has done everything that he can, and he will continue to push forward and be impactful nonetheless. Please make sure you hear our words, Mr. Golden's words, and understand his vision, because it is more than you'll ever see here in Fresno and worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that'd like to speak in favor of the proposal?
Good evening, Planning Committee. My name is Crystal Chambers. I'm a 4th grade learning guide at Golden Charter. Do excuse me, I am a bit emotional. I too am not comfortable being here under the circumstance of one person who appealed. Golden Charter is life. Mr. Golden has a vision that he has been seen through. I am firsthand testament to a lot of things directly that go on in the classroom. Our kids they are growing daily. We have a lot of things in place to implement that growth. There are numerous programs, the after-school program, tutoring programs. I'm emotional. We have theater, drama, music. Again, it's very inviting, welcoming. I have been a business owner myself over 10 years. I never thought I was coming back to work for anybody. I could not be more honored and thrilled to work for Golden Charter under Mr. Golden's leadership. His vision is extraordinary. Just sitting here knowing already what the vision is, but to constantly hear it, to see it come to fruition, we have to see this vision through. We have to see this vision through. Our kids are greatly impacted. Our kids they on the front line every day excelling, every day showing up. The staff, we show up. We are a part of the vision. I encourage you to look at the decision at hand. I encourage you to go forth. I just want to say, I want to applaud Mr. Golden. We come out of the same area here in Fresno, California, seeing a lot of the hardships. To allow our kids the opportunity to do something that they have never done, to be in a place that they have never been, to be able to excel at a level, again, some of their parents didn't even have a vision for. So just as a staff member, again, embodying the vision that Mr. Golden sees, I just encourage you all to just think about what is taking place here as a whole, and look at the end goal. Our scholars need Golden Charter Academy to go forth. We need to see our new school develop. We need to continue to feel the warming environment that Golden Charter gives, again, to staff, to scholars, to the parents alike, to the community in the whole. That's my time. Y'all have a good night.
You have 1 minute.
Oh, 1 more minute. I'm going to use it up. I had no plans on speaking, but just sitting here The 3 scholars that came up, I've had the privilege. I've been at Golden Charter since 2.0. I came in an independent contractor, tutoring, again, moved my position up to a full-time learning guide. Those are my babies. I've had the opportunity to guide them at the learning guide position. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for what Golden Charter has in store. And I'll just leave you with this. I'm sure some of you've heard it. But Golden, the G, give respect. O, obligation. L, love learning. D, dedication. E, elevate. N, never quit. So we want to see our vision through. And I encourage you guys to help us do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor?
Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening. My name is Candace Fairley, and I'm here as a proud parent of a student at Golden Charter Academy. This is my daughter's first year at GCA, and I cannot begin to express the positive change that I have seen in her in such a short time. As an African-American student with ADHD and other mental health challenges, she was often overlooked and reduced to just a number at 3 other Fresno Unified schools. But here at GCA, she has been embraced and supported in a way that makes her feel seen, heard, and valued. Golden Charter Academy has given her the opportunity to turn her struggles into strengths. The staff here recognizes her potential and has worked tirelessly to help her grow academically, socially, and emotionally. For the first time, my child tells me how she feels empowered, confident, and capable of achieving great things. This is why I'm up here today, to appeal for our campus to grow. We need to give more students, like my own, the chance to thrive in an environment that believes in them, invests in them, and sees them beyond their challenges to the bright future ahead. Golden Charter Academy is more than a school. It's a community that continues to foster hope, growth, and endless possibilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this project? I also want to say about 7:30, we'll probably take a break. So how many more people would like to speak in favor? Okay, so you're the last one. Okay, so we may not need to take a break in that case.
Hi. Good evening, Planning Committee. Thank you. My name is Travis Morris. I get the honor to serve our scholars each and every day as a full-time staff member at Golden Charter Academy. I'm going to take you back a little bit. 2nd grade, Fugman Elementary, I had a teacher. I remember telling her to her face I wanted to be a doctor, and she told me that I wasn't good enough to be a doctor, that the only thing that I was going to be able to do in my life is work at McDonald's. That's an exact quote. I vowed from that day that will never happen again, but now I get the opportunity to make sure each and every day on campus that each and every one of our scholars can step into the classroom and they can do anything they can put their minds to. Ms. Crystal said it a little earlier when she came up here, the word golden. She listed every single one of those acronym words out. We believe that. And each and every one of these scholars embody what the word golden means each and every day. We have some of the next generational leaders coming off of this campus, and I get the opportunity to serve them each and every day. They're challenging themselves, but not only that, we have scholars that are the leaders in their household. They have to come to school every day, but they got to go home and make sure they take care of some of their families because they're the only ones in there that can do it. Don't let this vision die, because if we let this vision die, all of our scholars are going to lose out on a world-class education. But not only that, a lot of our staff members here who have been impacted by Golden Charter Academy will be affected as well. Please take that in mind. Please take that in mind as you make your decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor? We're not doing Zoom anymore. Okay. So is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in opposition? Oh, okay. Seeing none, I'm going to take this back to the commission. I want to say first, I've been on the Planning Commission a long time. I really don't know how long, more than 10 years. And when I first started on the Planning Commission, my understanding was that we were here to see if something met the municipal code, and for years we did do that. And a couple of years ago, I was off for a few months for a crazy reason, and when I came back, I realized that I wasn't going to do that anymore, that there is the municipal code, and it's developed for a good reason to make our community better, but we also need to have common sense at heart. And that's what I see missing in a lot of the decisions that are made. And in particular, I want to thank the development director for denying this appeal, because there have been other instances near this site that have had issues when they're trying to do something good, and a block was put in their way when they were just trying to do something good. So I think it's time that we start using some common sense and some heart, and I really commend the staff because they did that this time. And so I am very much in favor of denying the appeal and upholding the director's decision. So would anyone else on the commission like to speak?
I definitely would second the motion if that was a motion.
That wasn't a motion, but
We have 100,000 reasons why we would support it.
Anyone else?
Do you have a comment?
I was just going to say it's going to be a beautiful place. I think Art Dyson's work is spectacular. It's going to inspire the kids to meet that, the inspiration that building will provide. And I think it's a great project.
And I'm sorry this ever happened to you. It's not forgivable. And I wrote your name on my hand, Mr. Golden, so I would quit calling you Mr. Johnson. So, would anyone else like to comment?
Yes, I'd like to say I'm very excited to see this happen, and you're doing a wonderful thing for the children, and don't get discouraged. You guys are doing amazing things, and I see even more coming for Golden Charter for the future, so congratulations.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we uphold.
Chair, I'm sorry, before you jump in.
Yes.
So remember, so an appeal, so there was an application, it was approved by city staff. There was an appeal. So you're hearing this de novo. That means new, right? So any new site plans that have been submitted since the appeal are not in front of you if you approve what's on this agenda. So I would like for you to call up the applicant's representative to ask him if you want to approve what was approved previously or what has been modified. So Dan, can you speak to that?
Yeah, so the current site plan, which was provided to city staff a couple weeks ago, tried to address concerns expressed by the appellant, and so the changes are limited but significant in terms of, you know, the outward appearance of the sidewalk environment. So the changes are, one, instead of retaining the existing sidewalk on Pacific Avenue, a new sidewalk will be put in its place. The old one will be demolished, and in the exact same footprint of the old sidewalk, a fresh new sidewalk will be placed. The street trees would move to the required location from the development code to the curb line, and then pedestrian lighting would be placed all around the project. Instead of relying on on-site lighting and the overhead road lighting, the Cobra heads, we would put also, in addition to that, the ornamental pedestrian lights also at the curb line per the development code. And so that is in the site plan provided on September 20th, dated September 27th. And so that's addresses the concerns represented by the appellant to us, and, you know, at great cost, it will be done, but it will also create a really great sidewalk environment for the community if that version of the project moves forward.
Okay.
And that removes 2 of the 16 requested modifications from that list.
So I guess I need to amend my motion.
I just need you to understand, what is it that you want to move forward? Is it the original request that did not have those modifications?
And that's
Or is
what
it the
you-
new request with the modifications and the additional cost? It's up to the planning commission to make that determination. But, so you need to, one, deny the appeal, and then uphold the action either as we approved it or with the modifications. So you're,
Okay. I
that's the motion.
Okay, so then I'm moving that we deny the appeal and uphold the original plan. I think that we've cost the school enough time and money, and although the amenities that are being suggested would be pleasant, I think the need of the school to get done in a more efficient way outweighs the cost of doing that. So I'm amending my motion, or making my motion to deny the appeal, uphold the original plan as the director asked.
Mr. Moderator, I second with the clause that you allow me to have a comment after we finish this vote.
So I've moved, Commissioner Kreiner has seconded. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Lydé?
Yes.
Commissioner Calandra?
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz?
Yes.
Commissioner Kreiner?
Absolutely.
And then Chair Bray.
Yes. So the motion passes. Thank you all for coming tonight. So, Commissioner Kreiner did want to make a comment?
Yes, so the comment is in light of so many systemic issues that have occurred historically in our city and our country, and tonight I want you all to know, Mr. Golden, Rob, how even though you didn't want to be here, it was by God's permissive will that you were. You needed to see what a fight looks like when you don't fight by yourself. As much as you may not have wanted to be here, you needed to be here. And you needed to see a school that stood behind you, even when the powers that be attempted to stand against you. There's a reason why this happened tonight. And you needed to hear from this diocese that even though you were attempting to make modifications to appease the powers that be, many times it's not our job to appease. We don't stand with Pharaoh in order to let the people go. We stand against him to let the people go. So I needed you to understand something and see the power that happens. Now, I'll say this, Mr. Golden, and to the Golden Charter staff and community. In 2011, another basketball player decided to build a school, and the entire city and community stood with them. That happened in Akron, Ohio, and it received rave reviews. It was built on the backs of individuals that at one point stated that $8 million was taken illegally. You've done something, Mr. Golden, that our city should be standing behind and proud of, because you partnered with an organization that at one point, prior to a particular measure that was passed, we almost lost the zoo. But a school was able, that primarily was black and brown, of disenfranchised kids from a particular part of town that will never ever see state-of-the-art organization or building like you're building, but only sees Family Dollars, Dollar Generals, doesn't have but one grocery store, has no credit unions or banks, but has 7 payday lending stores, 27 liquor stores, and 1 grocery store. Lives in dense poverty with a 20-year life expectancy gap between North and South. And you've came back in order to build in that community for these kids. You needed to see what opposition looks like when you fight and kick the door down of opposition. So remember this. Dr. King said this in 1966, a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. Tonight, every kid whose back was bent because of systematic oppression was able to stand up because of you. Congratulations.
Thank you all for coming. We do have a couple of things more to continue our meeting, so if you're going to stay, that's great. But if you leave, could you please, quietly leave? So thank you very much for all of you coming. Okay, do we have a
Commissioner
report
Bray?
from the secretary? You need a break? Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break. Do we have a report by the secretary?
Good evening, Chair and members of the Commission. We only have 4 meetings left in this calendar year. Just as a reminder, these will be very busy meetings. At an upcoming meeting later, either the second meeting in November or the first meeting in December, we will be voting on next year's calendar. So please be watching that and make sure that you're getting those dates on your calendar for next year. I know this is a huge commitment and I really appreciate all that you do. Just wanted to make sure that you know we will be voting on next year's calendar coming up. The one big decision that you'll be making, generally it's always the first and third Wednesday. January starts on the 1st on a Wednesday. And we do not intend to have a planning commission meeting that night. So one of the big questions we'll be asking you at an upcoming meeting is if January you want to meet on the 2nd and the 4th, or if you only want to have one meeting in January. So that will be coming up, either the second meeting in November or the first meeting in December. Just wanted to give you that heads up.
Thank you.
Make a comment. I will be out of town on the first Wednesday of December.
Okay, thank you. So are there any unscheduled communications? Nope. Okay, it is 7:35 and the meeting is adjourned.